HTML5 was designed to specify the content and the structure of a document. Although HTML5 has some attributes that control presentation, it is better not to mix presentation with content. So if a website's presentation is determined entirely by an external style sheet, we can just simply swap in a new style sheet to completely change the site's appearance. So this separation of structure from presentation simplifies maintaining and modifying web pages, especially on large-scale websites. So in this week, we will introduce many features in CSS3, which is Cascading Style Sheet 3. And the W3C provides a CSS3 code validator at this website. And this tool can help you to make sure that your code is correct and it will work on the compliant browsers. For CSS, we have inline styles, embedded styles, and the linking external style sheet. This section presents inline styles that declares an individual element's format using the HTML5 attribute style. So inline style override any other style applied using the techniques we discuss later in this chapter. So you can see inline style don't truly separate presentation from content. To apply similar styles to multiple elements, we'd better use embedded style sheets or external style sheet that we'll introduce later. In this web page, the first inline style declaration is in line 16. In the attribute style, specify an element style. So we set the CSS property font size, which is 20 point in this case. So we first set the CSS property, then followed by a colon, then a value. So here we declare this particular P element, which is paragraph element, to use a 20 point font size. To specify multiple properties, they are separated by a semicolon. For example, line 20, we specify the paragraph color to deep sky blue, so we set another property, color, and a colon and deep sky blue. Here is the output of the web page, the source code we just see. In the middle line, we changed font size to 20 points, and in the third line, we changed the color of that paragraph to deep sky blue. A second technique for using style sheets is embedded style sheet, which enable you to embed a CSS3 document in an HTML5 document's head section. In this example, we create an embedded style sheet which contains 4 styles: EM, H1, P, and special. The style element in line 11 to 18 defines the embedded style sheet, and the styles placed in the head apply to matching elements wherever they appear in the body. And the style element's type attributes specify the MIME, multipurpose internet mail extensions, and the default is the tag CSS. And we also have other types. For example, image/PNG, we specify the PNG images. We also have text/JavaScript, which specify the JavaScript markup. In line 12, the first rule begins with the selector EM, which selects all EM elements in the document. And the EM element indicates that its content should be emphasized. So browsers usually render EM elements in italic font. And each rule's body is enclosed in curly braces. And the CSS rules in embedded style sheets use the same syntax as inline styles. So we have the property name is followed by a colon and the property value. And the multiple properties are separated by semicolons. In here we see we have a font weight property in line 12, which specifies how bold is the text. So possible values are bold, normal, which is default, or we have bolder and lighter. And the boldness can also be specified with the multiples of 100, from 100 to 900. So text specified as normal is equivalent to 400, and the bold text is equivalent to 700. Line 17 declares a selector for a style class named special. Style class declarations are preceded by a period, as they define styles that can be applied to any element. In this example, class special sets color to purple, and we will show how to apply style class soon, and it's in the body section. And you can also declare ID selectors. If an element in your page has an ID, you can declare a selector of the form #element ID to specify that element style. Line 22 uses an HTML5 attribute class in an H1 element to apply a style class. So in this case, it's the class named special, declared with the period special selector in a style sheet on line 17. And when the browser renders the H1 element, the text appears on screen with the property of both an H1 element, which is the font family we defined in line 14, and the period special style class we applied the color purple defined in line 17. And the browser also still applies its own default style to the H1 element. The header is displayed in a large font size. So similarly, all EM emphasized elements will still be italicized by the browser, but they will also be bold as a result of the lines 12 and 13 we have seen before. Here is a web page. The grocery store, which is a link, is not underlined unless the user hovers the cursor on the link. So at that time, the pseudo class hover works. Line 13 causes all EM elements that are children of LI elements to be bold. So in the website web pages that go to this text doesn't appear bold because the EM element is not nested inside an LI element. However, the EM element containing with mushrooms is nested in an LI element, so it is formatted in bold. And in line 14, we see it define the H1 element and the EM element. Both are underlined. The text decoration are underlined. In the web page, the shopping list for Monday because it's inside the H1 tag, and we also for the EM tag with mushrooms and the go to those are all underlined. A pixel is a relative length measurement. It varies in size based on the screen resolution. As a relative length includes EM, which as a measurement means the font's uppercase M height, and most frequently used the font measurements. We also have EX, the font's X height, usually set to a lowercase x height, and the percentage, for example, font size equal to 50%. And to set an element to display a text at 150% of its default text size, you could use font size 1.5 EM, or we also can use font size to 150%. Whenever possible, use relative length measurements. So if you use absolute length measurements, your document may not scale well on some client browsers, for example, smartphones. External style sheets are separate documents that contain only CSS rules. It helps create a uniform look for a website because the separate pages can all use the same styles, and we can modify a single style sheet file and it will make changes to styles across an entire website or to a portion of one. So when changes to the styles are required, you need to modify only a single CSS file to make the style changes across all the pages that use those styles. And this concept is sometimes known as skinning. So this figure represents an external style sheet. So we just move all the CSS styles into separate page of the document. In this page, we contains an HTML5 document that references this external style sheet. And for the link element, we use IEL attribute to specify a relationship between those two documents so they can be linked together. And IEL attributes declares the linked document to be a style sheet for the document. And the type attribute specifies the meme type of the related document. And we also have href attribute provides the URL for the document containing the style sheet. It specifies the location where we can find this style sheet. Obviously, the styles.css should be saved at the same folder with the HTML5 document.